Are you just starting out with quail and you're wondering exactly what you should be feeding them? Well, I'm going to get all that cleared up for you in today's video, so stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Redneck video. Again, my name's Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. Lately, I've been getting a lot of questions asking me what exactly I feed my quail. And it's really a pretty simple answer. I feed all my birds, whether they're day-old chicks all the way up to full-grown adults, game bird starter. But there are a few specific things you want to look for. Okay, the first most important thing probably is the protein level. You need something that's about 27% or higher protein, especially if you plan on growing your babies out to get them to sexual maturity and get them to maximum size by 8 weeks for meat, or if you plan on keeping them producing eggs pretty much all year long. They need that real high protein in order to be able to do that, so 27% or more. Secondly, they need a high calcium rate. And when I say a high calcium rate, somewhere around a 1.5% calcium in their feed. Those are the two most important things to look for. And the rest of the stuff is probably going to fall in line when it comes to fiber and all those other kinds of things. There's a couple other things that are needed, but those are pretty standard across all game bird formulas. Now, when you're looking for your feed, it should have a label on it just like this, and it's going to show you on this one, it says, and I can't look at it and read it at the same time, crude protein 30%, so this is a 30% protein, and calcium is 1.5%. So that looks pretty good for this, this feed. It's a pretty good feed. All right, so where do you get game bird starters? Start with, maybe big box stores in your area, farm supply stores. Around here it would be Tractor Supply or Atwoods. They both carry that. You can also look at feed stores. If you have a feed store in your area that sells, cattle feed, livestock feed, those kinds of things, check there and you might be able to find game bird starter through them. If they don't have it available, just check with where they can, or where they get their feed, because they might be able to order it in for you. Always look for a feed that's non-medicated. I've run into a few problems with that whenever I go to a feed store that doesn't have it. I ask them to order it in. They look it up and all they can get available is medicated feed. And you really don't want to be eating your eggs or your birds if they're on a medicated feed. So try to get something non-medicated. If your feed stores or your big box stores cannot get in game bird starter, look for turkey starter. It's almost the exact same feed, it's just under a different name. And it generally has a 27-28% protein, somewhere right around in there. Now what about supplements? Do you need any kind of supplements? Some people will add calcium, some people will add mealworms and things like that for supplements. Now I'll tell you this, nothing wrong with adding extra mealworms or adding some fresh veggies. Quail are omnivores. The majority of their protein comes from insects in the wild, so it's best to add insect protein over other types of protein for them. But if you want to add those extra supplements, by all means go for it. There's no reason you have to do that though. They do just fine on just the feed right out of the bag and nothing extra. Now as far as calcium, I've done videos on that before and talked about it. You probably don't need to add extra calcium for the birds. They get plenty of it from the feed as long as it's about a 1.5% ratio. And by adding extra calcium, you can actually do harm. You can actually make the egg shells thicker and make it harder if you're incubating eggs for the eggs to get out, for the babies to hatch out, so it can affect your hatch rates negatively. A lot of people get a soft egg shell or an egg with no shell on it, and they think, uh-oh, I need to add calcium to it. Those kinds of eggs happen all the time, and they go away on their own. It's just an odd egg here and there. Unless you're getting those on an everyday or every other day basis, you probably don't need to worry about adding any kind of extra calcium to it. All right, I got some feed here to show you. Wind's blowing way too hard today for me to go out there and try to film without all the wind noise in the microphone, so I'm doing it up a little bit closer here today, but that's okay. Got you some feed to give you an idea of what that looks like, and you can just see it's pretty, my finger's probably in the way there, but you can see it's a pretty fine crumb, not too terribly big. And the birds do just fine with that, all the way from, like I said, day old right out of the egg all the way up through adult. All right, so if you have questions on feed, hopefully this answered those for you. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if there's something else that you do. If you have questions about something specific, I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, God bless.